Oh wow, look at this old bunker. God, Pat, these tunnels are huge. Wow, look at that cargo net. Shall I try climb it, guys? Come and join us on another adventure where we take you to the old medieval town of Midhurst and show you some of the abandoned secrets what lie around the area. With two historic castles what are hidden in the landscape what now are left as ancient ruins, along with ice houses, abandoned railway tunnels, massive countryside mansions what are left completely abandoned, even secret bunkers from the Cold War and pillboxes hidden in the woodlands. Now let's get into today's adventure. This is the medieval market town of Midhurst. It lies on the River Rother just 20 miles in from the English Channel. This old medieval market town called Midhurst was first recorded in 1186 as the name Midhurst, meaning the middle of the wooded hill. It gives home to two ancient castle ruins, but in order to find the foundations of the first castle, we have to climb this old cobbled staircase right the way up to the top of the hill, and there it was. These are the old foundation stones of the Motte and Bailey Castle what once stood here. It's thought that the castle was likely to be built around 1066 along with other nearby castles in Chichester and Pulborough. It was built to help secure the Normans' position within Sussex and was located just above the River Rother, a key transport route through Sussex. This was the actual site which was one of the main reasons for the development of the town of Midhurst. However, it's not entirely certain just when this castle was first built due to it not appearing in the Domesday Book. They're pretty sure it was given to a friend of William the Conqueror and Roger de Montgomery, who built a number of castles in the area and even the impressive castle that still stands today in Arundel. But even this ancient castle ruin has its secret. Tucked away in the side of the hill lies an old hidden ice house. Now let's go and find it. Many years ago, before the invention of refrigerators, they built ice houses. They were very similar looking to some sort of secret bunkers and were mostly hidden away in the landscape. Some were underground chambers, but many were buildings with various types of insulation, normally man-made. They normally would have been built very close to natural sources of winter ice, such as freshwater lakes. During the winter, ice and snow would be cut from lakes or rivers, taken into the ice houses and packed with insulation. It would remain frozen for many months until the following winter and could be used as a source of ice during the summer months. The main application of the ice was for the storage of foods, but it could also be used simply just to cool drinks or in preparation for ice cream or sorbet desserts. In some parts of Britain, these old ice houses have been mistaken for the entrance to secret underground tunnels. On average, these ice houses would store around 3,000 short tons of ice each year and would go down into the ground at least 14 metres down. At the base of these ice houses, they normally would have had a rounded bottom with a small drain to drain away any meltwater. Although the roof of this one is completely overgrown and covered in shrubbery, most of the ice houses would have had bricked domed roofs just like this one. As you can see here, this old stone ice house is buried in the side of St Anne's Hill and is overlooking the next part of today's explore, the Cowdray Castle ruins. This is all what remains of the breathtaking old Tudor house, also referred to as the Cowdray Castle ruins, sat just on the north bank of the River Rother, once destroyed in a massive fire. This stunning Tudor mansion sits overlooking a section of the River Rother, and in its day, Cowdray was home to one of the most powerful families at the courts of Henry VIII and Elizabeth I. The history of Cowdray reads like a novel of historical romance, full of invading Normans, kings and queens, old ancient curses, family feuds, imprisonment, intrigue, and even the legend Guy Fawkes used to work here himself. For more history and information on this old castle ruin, be sure to click the link in the description at the end of the video. But for now, let's head over to the massive abandoned Tudor mansion of the Flying Duchess. Located in the middle of the British countryside, sitting completely abandoned and left to decay, lies the remains of this old abandoned boarding school, which was once the luxury Tudor countryside mansion belonging to the Flying Duchess. This massive Victorian mansion was most recently an abandoned boarding school. It has a huge basketball court outside with an outdoor heated swimming pool and a massive orchard, along with acres and acres of land left completely abandoned. As you make your way inside the building, there's a huge wooden grand staircase which will take you up to the second floor, and it's full of tons and tons of rooms, still with beds made in each room. The building itself has loads of history, as it used to give home to the Flying Duchess, also known as the Duchess Mary Russell. The property itself has a bit of a dark past, with many tales of similar ghost stories over the years. It is said on certain nights of the year, the Duchess Mary Russell can be heard scraping her fingernails down the wooden walls of the property and whispering at the same time. And it's for this reason why this property has a nickname of the Name of Whispers. And it's not just this property with a bit of a dark past in the area. Not far from the village of Midhurst lies another area of woodlands, what's known as Blackdown Forest. Just a few miles out from the old town of Midhurst lies Blackdown Forest. Since 1967, Blackdown has been a location for many different ghost sightings. And on the night of November the 4th, a plane which left Malaga heading to Heathrow, packed full of holidaymakers, smashed into the hillside in Blackdown Forest. It clipped a property called Blackdown House and burst into a massive fireball, which destroyed the garage and ploughed into the ground at such speed the wreckage was spread out for a square mile. At first, all the locals in the area thought it was just smoke from bonfires and pops and bangs from fireworks, until they suddenly realised that the plane had smashed into the side of the hill and all 37 people on it were dead. Which leads us on to our next part of today's adventure. Not far from the last location of Blackdown Forest lies the huge abandoned chemical warehouse, also referred to as the ICI Chemical Research Station. This massive chemical warehouse was used back in the day for testing pesticides to help protect the fruit industry. It has been sat abandoned since the year 2008, and many property developer applications have been proposed since, but still yet nothing has been agreed, and this is why the site has just been left. The ICI Plant Protection Division were founded in 1926 and then moved into the site in 1945 with the intent of investigating pest control. The ICI then officially made their location their headquarters way back in the 70s, and it remained this way all the way through till 1994, when the site became part of AstraZeneca. Now let's get down on foot and show you just what we find what remains today in this huge abandoned chemical warehouse. As we slowly made our way up to this massive abandoned building, all the windows had been completely smashed, and as we looked around to check that there was no security, we quickly made our way up towards the main building. Just before we were about to enter the building, we looked to our right and quickly noticed these two abandoned quad bikes left sitting out in the middle of the car park. These would have been used back in the day due to the site being so large it would have made it a lot easier to get around. As we made our way round the outside of the building, we noticed this huge cargo net draped down the side of the building, where some people would have originally used it to either escape the security or climb up and onto the roof. Just to the side of the building we have found an easy entrance point, and before you knew it, we were in. Once we had finally got in this huge abandoned factory, the whole building was completely totaled, where everything had been stripped out the building, and all what really remained was tons of all different pieces of street art.
Octopus here. The work in this is insane, isn't it? Oh wow. Old Minnie Mouse. Lift down there. Don't know why I'm looking up when we're on the top floor. Wow.
Thanks for watching, guys. That's all we can fit into part 1's explore, but if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell, because here's the trailer of what's to come in part 2 of this episode. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in part 2 for our next adventure.
That would have been one of the pins.